Hi, my name is Saloon and I sometimes make transmog videos, and this is my third Zero to Hero series. Arcane Mage was voted by my lovely viewers through a poll where I offered up 6 packs I never played before. Welcome back to episode 2. Last time I got up to 642 item levels and reached 1621 rating. Last week I forgot to show you guys my weekly hero item from the map in Dows, which were these haste verse legs. I couldn't use them for now though, because of tier set. But this week, I got hero hands from the map, which I went and catalyzed so I could equip these hero legs too, because they gave best in slot stats. 2 great upgrades right off the bat. The first dungeon of the week is Mechagon Workshop plus 6. I don't even need to say a word here.
Kaboom!
Yes, Rico. Kaboom.
Classic workshop start. The chaos does not stop there. Motherlode 6 was next, where the tank pulls the jockey at the beginning, which nobody stops. I wanted to try, but I forgot what keybind sheep is on. I tried to click it instead, but it's way too late because I'm panicking. The tank opted for skipping the pack after the gate with the patrolling peacekeeper, and I'm showing you this because it will be important soon. On the first boss we failed to kick in 2 bombs, which wiped everyone but me because I had mirror image up, so I invis to reset the boss. Remember that pack we skipped earlier? Yeah, of course they get pulled. I started running back, but I stopped myself because I was worried about pulling the patrolling peacekeeper and make things worse, so I wait. Only for one of those muppets pulling it anyway. We managed to defeat the boss, and afterwards our Paladin lives up to their name and ascends into heaven from an extractor circle. Before the second boss, the tank goes down to the 9 stacks of bleeds, followed by the monk. We are starting to kite back, and then the shaman bloodlusts when most of the pack is already dead, but he admits it was Fatfinger. See guys? This is why I don't keybind lust. On the second boss, the paladin dies to the earth puddle the boss leaves behind, and I wish I could say that's the last time. After the first boss, he dies to brainstorms. Then he walks into the minefield and dies again. Meanwhile, the shaman decided to audition to the anime series called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Great performance, he even reincarnated. On the third boss, the tank messed up the boss position, so we got into a peculiar situation where he died, and the shit on the floor was blown to us. In the end, I had to 2-man the boss with the healer, but we got it, and that's what matters. Despite all the shit show, we still managed to time this key, and I got gloves, which I didn't need anymore, of course. The Wild West of 6s and 7s continues in a Cinderbrew 6, where the tank went and pulled big, and we all expected him to just come back to us, but he didn't, and by the time we catch up to him, he goes down. Later on we had another mishap, where in typical Demon Hunter fashion he jumps in and goes down while he had at least matter to press. We shrouded a pack earlier. We could have walked past it if the Demon Hunter imprisons one of the closest to us, but I couldn't type fast enough, so he just pulled them. Unfortunately, he was running with these, and they put the exploding barrels on the tank, who was in Narnia at this point, so those barrels went off. I tried to help with mass barrier to salvage the situation, but it wasn't quite enough. Thankfully, we were still able to double upgrade this key somehow. If it wasn't for those deaths, could have been even triple. Afterwards, I jumped into Floodgate 6, where I was completely thrown off at the beginning when the tank took a route I didn't see before. He only pulled 4 mobs, so I thought, okay, I'm not blowing everything on this. But then he pulled the 3 patrolling ads just after I used one of my cooldowns. I'd say this is one of the biggest frustration of the spec so far, that you really heavily rely on your cooldowns, and when someone pulls staggered like this, when it seems there is no clear planning in the pull, it feels a bit frustrating. But to be honest, at the same time, if I was playing a tank who has no idea about how Arcane Mage works, I'm not sure if I'd pay attention to this either, so I can't blame the tanks too much. I would expect tanks to know this kind of stuff in a plus 12 and above, but not below really. Anyway, we easily passed through this dungeon. We had no deaths at all during this run. Then I went on to time a Theatre 6, Workshop, Priory, and Rookery as well. After those dungeons, I decided to do a weekly Nightfall event because one of the champion items on offer was a champion haste war snack, which are best in slot stats for us, and I still had Adventurer neck. I did one more key that day, which was a Dark Flame Craft 6. The first boss worked out really well for me, even though I didn't have all my cooldowns up right at the start. This is my favorite boss as an Arcane Mage so far. The good feels didn't last long, because we got to the Candle King, the hardest boss for pugs in here. The DK has absolutely no idea what is going on and runs out with the circles that are supposed to melt the wax. He was also the only one with an interrupt up, which also doesn't happen. Then on the next interrupt, both druids and the DK had kick available, and
Nope.
needless to say, we wiped, and my brain melted more than the wax at this point. Then the warlock couldn't release, which is a known bug, not sure why it happens sometimes, so we had to wait for him, patiently, to relog. I thought to myself, okay, the tank is fairly reliable on doing the first interrupts, so I make sure I'll do the every other interrupt. That worked out quite well, but the DK has still no clue on the mechanics of this boss, which put a ton of pressure on the poor healer. Thankfully, we still managed to kill the boss in the end, but it was a struggle. On the last boss, for some reason I cannot explain, the action button for the candle never appeared to me. I tried to pick it up multiple times, but it never showed up, which really threw me off and made a million bad plays on this boss because of it. But whatever, we still timed it in the end. I took a few days break, and when I came back I decided to do a Theatre plus 7. And boy, I was not ready for this. Upon joining the group, we are greeted with the following message.
Hey, I've never done this dungeon before, but everyone rage quit after first pull.
I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be a wild ride, so it's time to buckle up. Nobody really reacted to what the tank was saying, so once again he was asking for some pointers on what to do. We had 2 Russians who were highly unlikely to offer any help. You can be happy if they understand English, and the priest didn't say anything either. So I thought to myself, well shit, I never tanked this expansion, don't know the routes or anything, but nobody else is trying to help. So I'm trying to explain the first pull based on what I've seen as a DPS or healer, that we skipped the first 3 ads with Sood, and he needs to pull the big ad into the boss. He then whacks the key in, no ready check, no pull timer. I had no time to use consumables, but neither did he. He puts the table down, but has no time to eat it. I feel like I didn't quite explain it right when I said pull the big ad together. I didn't mention the boss, so the Russian druid pulled the boss for us. I then said to him that the rest of the dungeon is quite linear and most people go to the exam wing first because of lost timers. I think. I have actually no clue, to be honest, but that's where the others were heading to. The druid pulled the mini boss as well for us because the tank wasn't going for it. So I looked up this tank because I noticed he was 660 item level. And I was wondering, is this guy a hardcore delver trying to tank for the first time? Well, no. Before I go any further, I just want to say, I don't judge anyone here. You spend your gold or money however you like, but this guy was boosted. And no, I don't mean it as an insult. I looked him up on Raider.io after this run, and his only dungeons were +10s with a full plate group to trade him gear. And before you think it was friends, unlikely because there were 2 different plate stacked groups and this tank's recorded item level was 500. I wouldn't really recommend anyone to learn the game this way. If you buy a boost as an experienced player just to get gear fast, that I can totally understand. But if you are new to a certain role in the game, or to the game even, I don't think this is a good approach. Before Gourd Shop, I explained to him that we skipped the patrolling gas bags, which I was quite nervous about, to be honest, but we actually managed to walk past them. Then he pulled a bit big, which I feel like the healer wasn't quite ready for. Next I told him to pull the 2 big adds into the next boss. At first he doesn't do it, but then he apologizes and does. This is a really weird experience to me because 1. I don't tank. I never tanked any of the dungeons, I don't know the route, but our tank needs help, guidance. It's weird to backseating a tank who literally asked for it. I'm impressed he didn't get hooked on Gourd Shop at all. On the last wing, I just told him to run across the hole and just blood boil to get aggro on the small adds and pull them into the next room for line of sight. I did not have time to type down to also pull the big ghost before the portals into this. I felt like I had to sacrifice my DPS quite often to type, which annoyed me a little bit. This would have been much easier through a Discord call or something, cause I didn't mind trying to help, just not like this I guess. After Kultharok we pulled the first 3 mobs we skipped at the beginning because we missed some percentage somewhere. I bet we needed to pull one of the side trash in the platforms before Kultharok, but again, I haven't tanked yet myself, I was just winging it. On the last boss, he was tanking it in the middle, which worried me, so I pinged for him to pull the boss to the side, otherwise we'll be run over by adds all the time. Well, we did manage to time the key in the end, with me guiding through the tank, so I call this great success. It was certainly a weird experience, but I don't want to imagine how this dungeon would have gone if none of us said anything. The next key was Dark Flame Cleft once again. The first boss was incredibly frustrating because I did even better than last time. I got fixated, so I used Invis to avoid it, then I ripped aggro. The tank couldn't be bothered to taunt, so I died. This pissed me off so much, I could have used more defensives, but I was just waiting for him to taunt. But it never came. Other than that, nothing particularly interesting happened during this run, we timed it comfortably. The last dungeon of the week was Motherlode. We had only 1 death throughout the whole run, but I got Keystone Master from this dungeon. Nice! Last thing to show you guys is the vault, which is really hard to watch back because I made a series of really bad decisions here, which I'll explain in the next episode. I picked the Entropics Guarding Core because it seemed high. I got myself a staff and a belt crafted. So, After the crafted items and upgrading everything, I'm at 659 item level. If you watched this far, I really appreciate it. I thank you all very much for watching. Subscribe for more WoW content, and I have channel membership now live as well. Nothing special or mandatory, it's just there if you want to support me improving my content for you guys. Your name will also appear at the end of the video as a special thank you. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye!